back to the All Things Basketball podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always, and during this lunchtime, I am trying to put out a quick pod, something that really came to mind that I took notes on last night. I went back today, just before doing this pod, to kind of make sure I got the data right, and it's just something quick that I wanted to address after just watching, Anthony Edwards throughout this postseason and even through the regular season. And then after last night's game against the Thunder in game one, it was so visible to me, the part of his game that's really missing to put the whole package together for him offensively, and what's going to really take him over the top, because he already is a dominant player at his position, and he is one of the best at applying pressure on the rim, collapsing defenses, finishing. But there is that middle game that he really lacks, right? Like when his back is to the basket, when he's in that mid-range area, those pull-up twos, they're the most difficult ones to take. We know the analytics. Obviously, points per possession, it's the least efficient one of all, whether it's in the restricted area versus taking threes. We know the mid-range is tough, right? And that's why the great players that are able to do it with efficiency, we marvel at those guys, right? And I think that would really help Ant get to the next level. And I just wanted to show some of the data that I pulled from him. So in this postseason so far, he's at 2 for 18 from the mid-range. That's 11.1%, as you can see it here in the graphic. And that's according to NBA.com's shot tracking data. And last postseason, he actually put together, good shooting from the mid-range. It was 30 for 64. He's got plenty of time to obviously make up that ground. But, it is something that was a constant in the regular season last year and this season in the regular season. If you look at these numbers, he was 79 for 210 in the mid-range this regular season. 37.6% there. And then last season in the regular season, he shot 35.1% on all those attempts. So that is something that I'm going to want to see Ant kind of put together, right? Like kind of work on that, whether it's in the off season. It's definitely something that puts guys in a whole other stratosphere as scorers. When you can truly be a 3-level scorer, it just puts you a cut above everyone else, right? And Ant is already an all-NBA talent. He's first-team all-NBA talent, right? Like we know that about him. He hasn't made a first-team all-NBA, but he definitely has the potential to do that. And at the very least, he's a top 10 player in the league, right? I think most people would agree with that take. And him not having that mid-range game efficiency, right? Like not as reliable in that sense, it says a lot to how great he really is, because you're facing a team that protects the paint better than everyone else in the NBA. They also defend the three better than anyone else in the NBA. So, when you don't want to commit to just shot chucking threes like a Jason Tatum does at times, and you also, let's say they're plugging in the paint, right? They're kind of preventing you. They're showing extra help. And you're also worried about maybe making that kick out when you get 2 feet in the paint, and then, you're worried about those deflections, because obviously OKC, I think they led the league in deflections as well. So you're also worried about throwing passes and, having those lead to turnovers and then points in transition for the Thunder. That's obviously the Thunder's whole game plan. We're going to lock in defensively. We may not show up offensively from a shooting perspective. We are going to turn defense into offense. We are going to get steals. We're going to get deflections. We're going to dive for the 50-50 balls. We're going to show when there's paint touches. We're going to just put our hands and bodies everywhere possible near the ball. And we're going to be very active, and we're going to force you to make tough decisions, quick decisions, and we're going to force you into some tough shots. Maybe we're going to give you shots that we live with, right? Like last night, it was really interesting to see, like OKC, I think they held the Timberwolves to like 4 points in the paint in the first half, right? And they didn't get a lot of points for the rest of the game in the paint. And obviously they lived off of those perimeter shots. Julius Randle was on a freaking heater. I'm going to obviously try to put a pod together later today to kind of dive into my, longer, deeper thoughts on game one, if I do have time to do that. But I just wanted to jump on here and kind of give a quick thought on something that I've noticed that is missing and why it could also be a serious obstacle for the Minnesota Timberwolves to advance to the finals. Just wanted to kind of bring that up because it definitely came to my attention just watching Ant either, settle for threes or, obviously get to the rim at will, which is something we know he can do. He can get to the free throw line, draw fouls, very hard to stop off the dribble. But, if you can get him to pick up his dribble and you force him into a long two or any other type of mid-range shot, it's, you live with that, right? So we'll see. Stay tuned for another pod. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I will catch you guys on the next one.